Despite making bold threats to LA's most dangerous Crip and Blood sets,
LA.
Are you not scared?
Scared of what?
Kendrick?
We got money.
Kendrick and his people?
Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah, you're scared of Kendrick?
Tell him come to Toronto. Swiss cheese.
and even threatened Compton's own Kendrick Lamar to never set foot in Toronto.
He's about to shut the place down still.
To the six, nigga.
Still.
You sure? Probably gonna be with all the police.
No, even he's with the police. He's done. He's done. He's done. He's done. He ain't coming. He ain't coming.
All while building a reputation as a so-called demon.
There's like 7 artists in Toronto that all got shot. And like all got leg gauses. You know what I mean?
Yo, you terrorizing the city.
I'm a demon.
OGs from LA don't seem to take him too seriously.
Drake's guy Top 5 said he'll respect Kendrick if he shows up without police security, which is ridiculous.
Nobody, bro.
Top 5, you a
Oh,
I forgot about Top 5.
That. Wow.
Top 5, I forgot to talk about you too. Top
Lord.
5, I think, yo, Adam, I hate when they say you can't judge a book by its cover. When I look at Top 5, I just think he's a like he looked like a to me.
And we can't blame them, not with how embarrassing this guy gets.
The fuck you talking to? Acting like you Drake. Just shoot you bump. Wear flip flops, looking my stuff you right now.
Yo, go get the burner, bro.
Let's get one thing straight, Top 5. Toronto's self-proclaimed demon might think he's the kingpin of chaos, but to the Bloods, Crips, and LA's real gangsters, it appears he doesn't really get the respect he thinks he does. Yeah, he talks a big game. Threats, claims of bodies, and a rap sheet that sounds like it was written by Netflix. But the harsh truth is, LA doesn't seem to give him a shred of respect. And here's why.
Top 5, you a I forgot about Top 5.
That. Wow.
Top 5, I forgot to talk about you too.
Top 5 loves to sell the idea that he's Toronto's scariest gangster rapper. The guy is drowning in criminal charges, from alleged dares to gang affiliations, and he's always mouthing off like he's untouchable. Toronto might buy into the myth, but when he aimed his threats at LA, calling out the Bloods, Crips, and even Compton's own Kendrick Lamar, the response wasn't fear. It was laughter. Top 5 was out here stirring up trouble all through 20. Dude was all over social media, pulling up on the Ops basketball courts, talking crazy about dead rivals in his songs, and even putting bounties on their chains. Like, no joke. He straight up told DJ Snoopy on a live stream that he was gonna snatch his chain in 7 days. And he said it in front of everyone.
I'll give us 7 days to take your chain. I promise you your chain.
You want a cookie?
7 days.
Do it.
Do you want to do this? 7 days. Count. Everybody watching this. 7 days, Snoopy's not gonna have his chain.
And guess what? Top 5 actually did it. He grabbed Snoopy's chain.
I don't care about the chain. How did he get your Gucci hat? How did he get
I was
that?
fighting. Obviously, my hat came on my head. My ground you.
He even took his Gucci hat, then tossed that hat right onto the highway like it was nothing.
I don't care about the chain. How did he get your Gucci hat? How did he get
I was
that?
fighting. Obviously, my hat came on my head.
That's the kind of energy Top 5 was bringing. Meanwhile, shootings were popping off in the streets. One wild incident had 27 shots fired, hitting 2 people. This happened during a chaotic time when Toronto rapper Doovie, who's known for dissing Houdini in his tracks, got shot the same day he dropped his Fire track. Nightmares. Luckily, Doovie made it out alive. But just a month later, NHS JJ wasn't so fortunate. He was offed. Both Doovie and JJ were from Southside Jane, and there was some serious beef going on with rappers from North Jane and Jungle for a while. And what does Top 5 do? He goes on live with DJ Academics, laughing about it and bringing up the whole situation like it's a joke.
JJ just got packed.
They said ask Top 5 if Doovie, the hottest in the city. Who's Doovie?
He just got shot like last month.
That's what I was gonna ask. Yo, Top 5. You don't have to answer it, but the thing that happened with Doovie.
DJ Academics' Toronto street streams are straight up chaos. He's always got to step in to make sure no one accidentally admits to anything that could get them in trouble. And honestly, that's no easy task when you've got someone like Top 5 hopping on streams with Academics, spilling the tea on all the wild stuff going down in Toronto streets. It's like a live soap opera, but with way higher stakes.
There's a next rapper named Snoopy. You could go on YouTube. I took his chain in the mall.
You took his chain?
And I told him I'm going to take it in 14 days on live. And I got it on the 9th day.
Academics even turned up the drama by getting Top 5 and Doovie on the same stream together. The result? Absolute chaos. These two went at it, dissing each other's dead homies like it was nothing. The back and forth was straight up chilling, raw, unfiltered, and a little too real for anyone watching.
Got a Legos, fam.
You're a snitch. Your bro died off of a Legos. What the fuck?
JJ just got packed.
Doovie,
You're a snitch.
JJ!
yo, Doovie, I thought.
All this beef going down on Academics' streams was a big deal. I mean, Academics runs one of the most influential rap platforms out there, not just in America, but globally. Let's not forget, this guy blew up by reporting on the Chicago drill scene. For the first time, he was pulling back the curtain on Toronto streets, showing the world that it's no joke up there either. Plenty of demons roaming around. Those streams, featuring guys like Top5, Chromaz, Pressa, and other Toronto rap legends, did a lot to put Toronto on the map in the US. But you could kind of tell that Top5 was getting a little too deep into that demon energy. The way he casually talked about crimes on those streams, wild. Then, on January 14th, 2021, Top5 dropped 2 cases, a tribute to his GG bro Flipper, who was locked up on, you guessed it, 2 MDR charges. The track was full of savage disses aimed at dead ops like Slugger and Clutch. But here's the kicker. Just 2 weeks after dropping that song, Top5 ended up catching a case of his own. On January 31st, 2021, emergency services were called to Jane Street and Falstaff Avenue after reports of automatic gunfire. When the cops pulled up, they found a man shot inside a car. Unfortunately, he was pronounced dead right there at the scene.
This is a look at the scene near Jane and Falstaff, just south of the 401. Toronto police were called to the scene earlier this evening after receiving multiple reports that gunfire could be heard in the area.
The victim in this tragic incident was 20-year-old Hashim Omar Hashi, an accounting student with no ties to gangs. Cops said he was just an innocent guy caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. But then things took a weird turn. Out of nowhere, just a week after the K-ing, Top5 posted a news report on his Instagram where he seemed to defend his violent lyrics. Basically, he was saying it's all just for the money and that he's not really about that life. The whole thing even made it onto global news, adding another layer of drama to an already wild situation.
Top5 is part of a thriving Toronto hip-hop scene. It's internationally recognized thanks to artists like Drake, Tory Lanez, and The Weeknd. But this rapper says there's also a stigma related to crime and violence.
Top5 was acting way different on global news compared to how he'd wild out on Academics' streams, where he was constantly talking about bodies on bodies that his crew supposedly handled. And just a week later, it all made sense why he might have been trying to clean up his image a bit. Turns out, Top5 got arrested for being an accessory to the MDR that went down 2 weeks earlier. But in a twist, the cops didn't have enough evidence to hold him, so he was released. And of course, Top5 couldn't let that slide without making it a moment. He posted a hilarious clip after his release, bragging about giving his lawyer a GGG chain and flexing about being 234K up. Classic Top5. Now, LA is a city where gang culture runs deeper than just rap lyrics. So of course, Bloods and Crips aren't likely to be fazed by some loudmouth from Toronto who thinks posting threats on Instagram makes him hard. Apparently, Top5's reputation as a hitman and demon holds no weight in the streets of LA. Respect in that world is earned through decades of loyalty, survival, and authenticity, not viral antics and clout-chasing beefs. Top5 is seriously about to send his lawyer's kids to college with all this drama because just 3 months after being released on accessory charges, the cops hit him with a major upgrade, first-degree AMDL. Naturally, they couldn't find him after that, and even issued a public warning saying he's still at large, violent, and dangerous. So yeah, Top5 was officially on the run for MDR. You'd think this would be the time to lay low and keep a low profile, right? But nah, this is Top5 we're talking about. Top5's attempt to build his demon brand backfired spectacularly when fans exposed him for faking his Instagram stories. Imagine going to the lengths of fabricating your own gangster narrative on social media, thinking no one would notice. Spoiler, they did. The moment his fakery hit the internet, any credibility he might have had with real gangsters was dead on arrival. Instead of laying low, Top 5 did what only Top 5 would do. He kept posting on his IG story, basically trolling the cops who were scrambling to find him. He even doubled down on his earlier global news segment, claiming again that his violent lyrics were all cap and just part of the hustle to sell music. He also threw in a jab about his top lawyer, saying the cops upgraded his charges to MDARE without any new evidence, and because he just couldn't resist, Top 5 went live on Instagram during all of this, casually dissing Clutch like he wasn't a wanted man.
All them soldiers. You guys miss me, eh? Well, I miss my Clutch. Who's gonna snitch on Top 5? That's a good question.
Top 5 went live again on the 22nd, defending himself and saying he didn't do anything. Meanwhile, the comments were wild, with people saying that the Toronto police were punching the air watching all this go down. It was like a whole live stream circus, and Top 5 just kept feeding into it.
Run, baby, run. Run.
They can't catch you.
Like, I ain't do everybody know I ain't do It's 144, but I'm still smoking Clutch.
At one point, the fact that Top 5 was on the run for MDARE and still posting on his social media became a story in itself. It was like the situation was so crazy that just him being active online while wanted for MDARE was making headlines. So here's what you're probably thinking. Does Top 5 really still show up on DJ Academic's Twitch streams while he's on the run for MDARE? And yup, he does! Top 5 stared there. Oh, Top 5 still pops into Academic's live streams even though he's allegedly on the run. What's wild is Academic seems totally clueless about how serious Top 5's situation is, not realizing the feds are probably watching every move, trying to figure out where Toronto's top demon is hiding.
I thought it was just a song, but I heard they just caught you for 2 cases. And he said, bro, I'm gonna beat that. Easy.
They try to frame me for some.
Are they trying to frame?
At this point, Top 5 was pretty much doing a press run while also on the run for MDARE, making headlines again when he went live the next month. This time, he was trying to set up a meeting with Toronto's then mayor, John Tory, saying he wanted to talk to the mayor first before dealing with the cops.
I'm telling them, if they want to meet me, tell John Tory reach out. If John Tory reaches out, I'm linking up with Eddie. Yo, you guys want to link up? Call John Tory and tell him I want to have a f***ing sit down for f***ing 30 minutes.
In response to Top 5's offer for a sit-down, Toronto's mayor John Tory put out a short statement saying, "I know the devastation and trauma that MDAREs in our city have caused families and neighborhoods, and it's very troubling that someone charged with MDARE has yet to make themselves available to the authorities." But Top 5 didn't let the mayor's comments or the MDARE charge hanging over his head stop him. In August 2021, he went live again, this time from a recording studio, telling fans he was still working on his album, even while on the run for MDARE.
We're at 1,000 already. Yo, listen, I want this to make the news tomorrow. You guys want to know where I am? All you blogs, look, Toronto's f***ing mine. I'm in the studio working on this album.
And of course, Top 5 couldn't resist taunting his newest target, Mayor John Tory, once again.
Hey, where the f*** is John Tory? And I still want to have my dinner with you, little f***. Like, taking me on this joke? Toronto's f***ing mine. Hennessy. John Tory. Henny. And when you're around me.
Naturally, all of this bold behavior and constant trolling landed Top 5 right on Toronto's most wanted list. But it turns out, Top 5 wasn't just going live and acting reckless for kicks. Nope, all this sketchy internet activity was actually part of his promotional strategy to drop a new track while on the run for MDARE. The song Movie featured YG and Bun. Bun got out at the end of 20, went straight to Dubai for a vacation, and then started dropping tracks under the name Bone, like Brick for the Low and True Story, both fire songs. But it was his appearance on Movie with YG and Top 5 that really got the drill community buzzing again. On the track, Bun disses Silac and even calls out MK Doovie, saying he's sending him to JJ. Meanwhile, Top 5 is all over the song talking about smoking Clutch and Slugger. But despite all of this posturing, you can bet that Lil OGs were not really buying the whole tough guy persona from Top 5. One of the first OGs to call him out was Wack 100. Not only this, if you're familiar with Wack 100, you know he's not one to mince words. When Top 5 came up in conversation, Wack pulled no punches, straight up calling him a fraud. He didn't just discredit Top 5's so-called demon persona, he dismantled it. And let's be honest, if Whack 100, someone who knows LA streets inside and out, says you're a joke, game over. Whack 100 has had thoughts all year. The West Coast veteran and music exec has been riding with Kendrick Lamar throughout the Drake feud. He's already made it clear that he's teamed up and predicted that his joint tour with Sia is going to be huge. So it would appear Whack is not concerned about Top 5. In fact, it looks like he's kind of amused. Whack 100 had zero hesitation when it came to dismissing Top 5's street credibility during a recent sit-down with DJ Vlad. The no-nonsense executive was informed that Kendrick Lamar and Sisal would soon be performing in Drake's hometown of Toronto, sparking concerns about whether Top 5 might retaliate in some way. But Whack wasn't even slightly concerned. In fact, he laughed off the idea altogether. "You ain't nobody, bro!" Whack 100 snapped, immediately shutting down the notion that Top 5 could pose any real threat. We watched this same dude get mushed in the face and kicked in the aw. His tone was filled with mockery, making it clear that he didn't buy into Top 5's self-proclaimed status as a street figure. And he didn't stop there. Whack went straight for the jugular, calling out Top 5's tough guy image as nothing but smoke and mirrors. "I don't know where you come from, bro. We off the porch at 12, he said, emphasizing that real ones don't have to do all that extra talking, they just move. Whack then took his disrespect to another level, attacking Top 5's physical appearance in a way that had DJ Vlad grinning from ear to ear. The West Coast executive made it clear that Top 5 wasn't built for the type of pressure he claims to be under. "Ain't nobody worried about dude," he scoffed, brushing off any speculation that Top 5 could influence anything happening in Toronto's music scene. This latest exchange just adds fuel to the fire, as Whack 100 continues to call out rappers he believes are all talk. And if his words are anything to go by, Top 5 just got put in his place. In a more practical sense, the music executive said that Kendrick Lamar's team will ensure his safety. He praised the rapper for knowing who he is, and his team for being similarly mindful of how they should behave in other cities. Whack 100 proceeded to make fun of Top 5 and the Toronto scene, questioning whether they're going to have sharpshooters on deck for the Compton Rappers show. Whack 100 also had some words for the Sixth God. "Drake ain't in control of Toronto. QC ain't stopping that show," he noted. Either it was a myth or how much pull he had. Whack posited that Toronto listeners may be changing up on Drizzy and shifting their allegiance toward Lamar. "Out with the old," the veteran exec posited. "It's a new king here." Whack 100 also theorized that the fans are gonna go crazy when Lamar plays his smash hit diss Not Like Us's in Toronto. "The same thing that's gonna happen at the Super Bowl," he quipped. This might be the most delusional move Top 5 has ever made. The man had the audacity to take shots at Kendrick Lamar, a Compton legend whose respect transcends rap. Kendrick is a figure LA holds in high regard, and Top 5 coming for him was like throwing pebbles at a tank. It didn't even scratch the surface. Instead of boosting his profile, it cemented his status as an outsider trying too hard to make noise. This one deserves its own category because it's that embarrassing. Top 5 literally created his own fan page. Let that sink in. While real rappers let their fans build them up organically, Top 5 had to manufacture his own hype. If you have to make a fake cheerleading squad for yourself, are you really as feared and respected as you claim? One person wrote, "What's so weird about this guy is his older brothers are both a pro ball player and the other is a coach for a D1 college ball." Another one added, "Top 5 doesn't have a starlet in his life. He has the biggest fan himself, LOL." And here's the flip side of Top 5's persona, the B reputation that people love to drag him for. For every story of him being a so-called gangster, there are 10 stories of rappers, fans, and insiders roasting him for his lies and antics. He's been called out multiple times by other Toronto rappers who've exposed him as a fraud. Viral videos of Top 5 being ridiculed have made the rounds, showing him in situations far from the demon image he tries so hard to maintain. The streets don't respect a loudmouth who can't back it up. And Top 5's track record of empty threats and manufactured drama speaks for itself. When Top 5 started throwing shade at LA, he bit off more than he could chew. LA's gang culture isn't some game you can play from the safety of another country. Bloods and Crips don't respond to keyboard warriors or Instagram gangsters. And yet, Top 5 tried to position himself as Toronto's version of a kingpin, challenging a legacy and culture he doesn't understand. The result? Utter humiliation. LA didn't even bother engaging with him seriously because he's not worth their time. His name might ring bells in Toronto, but in LA, it barely registers as background noise. Born Hassan Ali, Top 5 grew up in Toronto's Driftwood neighborhood, a place with a reputation for violence and crime. His upbringing shaped his music, which reflects the gritty reality of his environment. But instead of focusing on building his artistry, Top 5 leaned into the chaos. His breakout track, Shirt Off Shorty, definitely got him some attention. But it wasn't just the music that kept him in the spotlight. Nah, it was his wild antics that really kept him front and center. From criminal charges to beefing with pretty much anyone who crossed his path. Top 5 quickly turned into more of a controversial figure than a respected artist. He's got this whole bad boy image, and whether it's stirring up drama on social media or getting caught up in legal trouble, he always seems to be in the middle of something. It's like you can't talk about him without mentioning the chaos he's always involved in, which, whether people love or hate him, definitely keeps their eyes on him.
Of 20-year-old accounting student Hashim Omar Hashi, who was gunned down in his car at 40 Falstaff Avenue on January 31st.
At the end of the day, the reason Bloods, Crips, and even rappers don't respect Top 5 boils down to one thing. He hasn't earned it. His reputation is built on shaky foundations, fake stories, self-made hype, and beefs designed to grab headlines. In the world he's trying so hard to infiltrate, actions speak louder than words. And Top 5's actions? They scream insecurity and desperation. So while Top 5 might continue to call himself Toronto's demon to LA, he's just another loudmouth who bit off more than he could chew.